I used to be that girl that couldn't pass the mile test in school. I avoided running sports because a PE teacher told me I was too slow, and I just decided to write it off as being quote unquote a bad runner for the remainder of my childhood and college years. Honestly, I was just in my own way. It was all in my head. I was truly being my worst enemy because who's to say I couldn't be a runner? Running looks different for everyone. Just because I wasn't quote unquote the fastest, or some random man who was my PE teacher when I was 10 made me feel inferior. Don't let the fear of being too slow or looking funny, or honestly the excuse of not having time to do it, be the reason you don't pursue it. So here are my tips on how you can become a runner. I don't care if you've never ran or if you're someone who runs marathons. I think this video can benefit everyone, and I hope it encourages you to try something new and get out of your own way. So you want to become a running girl, I hear. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Hello, how are we? Happy whatever day of the week it is for you. I thought I'd come at you with a sit down chit chat about how to be a running girly, because you know what? I cannot hold it in from ya. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say I'm not a runner. So with that being said, do not forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's get started. I have a couple tips for you. It doesn't matter if you are not formally a runner or if you've never ran in your life. I don't care, okay? We all have to start somewhere, and these tips are how I got into running. I was that girl that could not literally run for longer than like 1 minute until I was out of breath and dead. And now I run about 4 miles almost every day. There is something you feel once you become a runner, and my girlies that run, my guys that run, you totally know what I mean. And it is like this sense of accomplishment after a run that you just don't get when you lift. You don't get when you go to the gym. And it's almost like you start running, you get like a mile in, you have to complete it. You can't half-ass it. If I'm doing leg day and I just want to quit and walk out, I can just quit. Like, there's no repercussions. No, if I'm running, I gotta walk the whole mile back, right? And usually we're on like a time crunch. So I love that about running. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Please comment if you do. But it's just like this sense of accomplishment that like you gotta go all in or nothing when you run. You can't half-ass running, okay? So here are my tips for you to be a successful runner, for you to feel confident when you're running. I also do have Savvy Run Club. It's an entire workout running PDF that I provide, where I provide 2 different forms of how I learned how to run. I provide an entire calendar, and I teach you how to run within a time frame. I also have an amazing running Facebook group where we all encourage each other every single day to keep up running. It's 25 buckaroonies. It's a one-time payment. So if you want to snag it, go look at my PDF. I have to put a little shameless plug in for you, okay? So tip number 1 is start slow. What I mean by this is do not expect that you're going to be like this half marathon runner, because you're not immediately. We all kind of suck, and that's okay. It's like golf, right? I mean, I don't really play golf often, but I hear my husband constantly say everybody sucks at golf unless they're consistent with it. And like, you could be a really good golfer, but then if you're not golfing like every weekend or every other day, you kind of go back to like this base level. And that's kind of how running is, honestly. You have to keep at it, and that's okay. And if you take a break, you may start at square one again, and there's nothing wrong with that. My biggest tip is doing a run-walk approach for this. If you want to start off slow, just slowly pick up running. So you run for 30 seconds and then you walk for 30 seconds. And you repeat that until you hit a certain mileage. Try it out. It's called the run-walk approach, the run-walk method. There's a couple other methods you can do, but for me, that's like the easiest way to get into running. Is you can kind of start off where you're not too intimidated to run the full 4 miles, but at least you can do a run-walk method and catch your breath every once in a while. 2 is proper footwear. You guys, there are a million running stores. If you are coming up with an excuse already, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, okay? There are running stores in almost every city. Of course, maybe not one near you, but if you go on vacation, wherever, just visit a running store. It's completely free. Take a look at your running, your form. Also, they'll recommend certain shoes that are good for you. Personally, I have Nike Zoom Flies. I'll link them down below. I don't love them. I have wider feet, so I really struggle wearing Nikes, but I committed and they're my running shoes now. I do plan on going and getting fitted for a new running shoe in this coming year. So if you guys want to check them out, I'll link them. But they're also known to be like a racing shoe, not necessarily a long distance shoe. But you know what? It works for me. At the end of the day, a lot of the times people are like, oh, I can't run, it hurts my feet or it hurts my body. It could be your form and it could be your shoes. So keep in mind, it doesn't always mean you're the bad runner. It just means you need to pay attention to those two things. 4 is proper warm up. And I got a story for you on this. So first things first, let's focus on dynamic warm ups in the beginning. What that means is movement warm-ups. So maybe you're doing high knees, maybe you're doing jumping jacks, maybe you're doing leg kicks, whatever it may be, but you're really trying to warm up your muscles and get ready for this run that you're going to do. And for cool down, we're gonna focus on static cool downs. What that means is going to be more stretches that are like paused and held for like 20 seconds, whatever it may be. So you could do like a lunge and pause for 15 seconds and then rotate to the next one. That's gonna be a bit more calming. We're not trying to get our heart rate up like dynamic warm-ups, and we're not trying to flail around as much. So just think of dynamic, we're moving a lot, static, we're cooling down, catching our breath, and really making sure we're stretching out properly. 4 is run at like a conversational pace. I'm not always the best at this, but you want to feel like you can have a full-blown conversation while you're running. It doesn't matter if you're the fastest, it doesn't matter if you're the slowest, but try and practice that method because you'll be able to keep up with your stamina. The whole point is just to find a sustainable pace for you, and then as we improve, we can increase it. But practice that, maybe have a running buddy or just talk to yourself, man. Maybe sing some Taylor Swift, that's what I do. 5 is, I already touched on this, proper form. Like I said, a lot of people think they're bad runners. It's literally just your form. So if you're telling me that like your heels hurt or your back hurts or whatever it is, Google it. The amount of times I have to tell people, just Google the symptom. And no, of course, Google's not gonna be like 100% accurate. Maybe ask when you're at the running store, but a lot of the times you can problem solve. I am somebody that is like a stomper when I run, if you guys know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like at a gym, I'm kind of loud when I run. And so I really have to work on that because it actually does impact my back. So I just have to like change my form while I run. I get used to it. At first it's kind of hard, but then I kind of change it and I feel a lot better after. So once again, just Google it. I feel like people don't realize that like we have Google. And like there's so many options out there. We're not in like the early 90s where we don't have computers, okay? I literally just had somebody DM me asking if I could share a overnight oat recipe, and I said, girlfriend, just Google it. I don't know. I don't even like overnight oats. So when in doubt, Google it out. Comment that. That is our word of the day. Comment, Google it. 6 is set realistic goals. I don't know how many times I need to tell you that, guys, okay? Set a realistic goal when it comes to running. If you're trying to run a marathon, props to you. I've never done it, hats off. But if you are trying to run a marathon and then you don't actually execute on your goal, you're just gonna like cry that entire day, have gnarly blisters, and then never wanna run again. So if you are setting a realistic goal and working your way up there and actually sticking to the actionable items you need to accomplish the goal, you will see success. It is not that hard. It is not that hard, people. Sometimes I feel like people just do not break down their goals. An example, like I said, would be you saying, I wanna run a marathon by like December, but then you don't have any like actionable item to accomplish that. So then December comes and you don't actually know how to run a marathon. So instead, just do your research. Next up is rest and recovery. We should not be trying to run every single day at a fast or long pace. That does take a toll on your body. It's always up to you and what you want to do. But for me, I have to rest. So I usually run about 3 days a week. And with that being said, listen to your body. If you're not feeling great, assess once again your form, your shoes, and also you don't have to do it. You don't always have to run. Lastly is stay hydrated. Okay guys, I run in 90-degree weather. So this is a huge thing for me is I'm always replenishing myself with electrolytes. I use Ghost Hydration if you want to check them out, but grab some electrolyte, even pink salt. Pink Himalayan salt is a natural electrolyte. Pop it in your water every single day. But just make sure you're staying hydrated because you will have very bad consequences if you don't. At the end of the day, remember that progress takes time, and running is something we have to consistently work at to see success. And I feel like a lot of times people don't acknowledge that. It's not like learning how to ride a bike in a sense. Like, yes, you can have some success with it consistently, but if you're not keeping up with it, you will have to like backtrack a little bit and get your body back in shape. So keep that in mind. I hope this inspired you. I hope you're going to pick up running. Please comment down below if you do. Tag me in Instagram stories. But that being said, do not forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.